So one question we get asked a lot on DUI cases is, should we take the breath test? And did we mess up by taking the roadside test when they pulled me over?
Yeah, that is a common question. I mean, and the thing that most people don't realize is there's actually two different breath tests. There's the test you get on the roadside, the portable breath test, and then the test that you may be given if you go to the station, which is called the Breathalyzer.
And they can use the portable breath test. And we always tell people this. The portable breath test, the purpose of that is to determine whether you're under the influence, and they use that as a reason to arrest you.
Right. When you're getting the portable breath test, most of the time they're still investigating whether or not you're under the influence or not. And so that just gives them probable cause to arrest you or to conduct further field sobriety testing.
But it can't be used in court.
That's right.
But Breathalyzer can be used in court as long as it's done right.
Mm-hmm. Officers have to be certified. The machine's got to be calibrated. There's a lot to it, but most of the time, if you blow in the Breathalyzer and you're over the legal limit, that makes your case harder to defend.
One question we always ask everyone when we're doing a consultation for a DUI is we want to know what happened at the scene. And obviously, the potential clients that we're talking to, they're the ones that know the answers to those questions. So a lot of times we want to know, for example, did you do any field sobriety tests?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's a lot of different field sobriety tests that officers do. You've got the famous one everybody knows, the one leg stand. You have to stand with one leg kind of raised out. You've got the walk and turn. And I know you've had some experience litigating cases with the nystagmus tests.
Right. So, again, just like the portable breath test, a lot of the field sobriety tests are not to be used in court.
That's right.
But they can be used as probable cause to arrest you. We joke that field sobriety tests are very hard to do, even for people that are not intoxicated. And that's a big reason why you can't use them in court.
That's true. A lot of it goes into is how you're initially stopped by police officers. A lot of times it can be a traffic checkpoint. And if that's the case, there's all kind of constitutional concerns that go into that.
A lot of people don't even realize, too, that for us to be able to defend someone on a DUI case, I mean, we spend a lot of time learning the law on traffic laws and the exceptions to the traffic laws, because if a police officer does not have enough evidence to pull you over for that traffic offense, anything that happens after that, most of the time can be thrown out of court.
That's right. If an officer says that you failed to use a turn signal at a road where you didn't actually have to use a turn signal, we can suppress a lot of what has come after that initial stop. And so that's our first strategy we look at is, why did this person come in contact with law enforcement? Why were they pulled over? And was it a valid reason for pulling somebody over?
And then obviously we get into the portable breath test, the field sobriety test. Very, very seldom are we dealing with interviews.
That's right.
In cases of DUIs. But yeah, one of the things we're going to want to know on your potential client call with us or meeting with us is what happened at the scene. It's extremely important. Also, one of the things that we get in a lot of DUI cases, and we tell people this, is that we're going to get a body cam and a dash cam. And a lot of times the body cam and the dash cam will either corroborate what people are telling us, and it'll corroborate what's in the police report. But that's not always available.
That's right. And when we do get the body cam, we want our clients to come and review it with us. We want you to look at it and see if it's what you remember, see if there's stuff happening off the camera that we can't see but you remember happening. There's really a lot that goes into it, but we try to investigate every aspect of the case.
And we don't ever really talk about this, and no one asks us directly, but that's one of the reasons why I think we're different than other law firms when it comes to DUI cases. Because if you hire us for a DUI, you're not just hiring Cameron McCormick or Bay Lawrence. You're hiring our law firm. And to me, we got the best paralegal in this field. And it's very seldom that a case comes in the office that we both don't lay eyes on.
That's right. I mean, we like to joke around, you hire one of us, you get both of us. In almost every case, we work on our DUI cases together. We get a different set of eyes on it, somebody with different experience. Or our paralegal puts us together notebooks and files. And when you see us walk into the courtroom that day for your case, there's hours of work that we have put into your case that you haven't seen. You may come review discovery with us, but if you're reviewing it with us, we've watched it before.
And look, a lot of people only see what lawyers do in a courtroom. And a lawyer told me a long time ago that you win cases out of court, not in court. And I never knew what that meant until you really start practicing law and you realize what he means by that is the work that goes into a case typically happens at your desk in your office. That's what prepares you to be in court. And I think that's what we pride ourselves in.
That's right. It's the late nights that nobody sees. You sometimes get your best thoughts in the shower. And you do all that work before you ever step foot in front of a judge. And before you ever get that officer on the stand to ask him questions, we're working to try to beat your case.
Yeah. Another question I get a lot with DUI cases is people tell me 9 times out of 10 that they were not read their rights. And a lot of people just don't understand that, or they'll tell me, or they'll ask the question, they didn't read me my rights. Does that mean my case gets thrown out?
That's right. And everybody thinks that if you don't get read your rights, your case is done. It's over with. But with DUIs, that's just simply not true. We've had cases where people were never read their rights and they proceeded to the station. They did an intoxilizer. Well, there's a warning you sign before you do the intoxilizer test that makes sure that those tests are admissible in court. So just because you haven't been read your rights in a DUI case doesn't mean you automatically win. Obviously, the rights come into play when maybe you're arrested and you say something you shouldn't have. You admit to drinking. Well, if they haven't read you your rights and there's some other conditions that apply, that may be a statement that we can suppress on the body cam.
A lot of times when people say they weren't read their rights, they're referring to the famous Miranda rights.
That's right.
Do you know the Miranda warning?
I've known from Law and Order just like everybody else.
Well, one of the things about the Miranda warnings is people don't realize is that, law enforcement doesn't have a duty to read you Miranda just because you were arrested. We routinely explain to people that they only have to read you Miranda rights if you're in custody and if you're being interrogated. And a lot of people don't understand the difference between being in custody and being interrogated in a DUI stop. And obviously, a lot of times in a DUI stop, it's an investigation before anyone's ever in detention. So.
And that's right. And there's case law on both sides of those things. And that's kind of a gray area. And that's where lawyers are really worth their money. That's where we come in. We argue the law. We apply the facts of your case to the law and try to get a favorable and a just outcome for you.
But I will say that it's very common for us to file motions and pleadings in court asking to suppress statements because they weren't read Miranda rights. And so there's a lot of times that, clients are right. They weren't read their rights, and we don't know that until we get their evidence in the case. But a lot of times there's a false belief that just because they weren't read their rights, that their case will be dismissed.